I'm not exactly close to any Chinese communities. Not physically, no. So I feel like if you live in a place where people talk very commonly about your local Chinese community, I feel like you're more likely to get exposed to something like that. I'm not. But then again, I don't live around a coastline, nor do I live in a direction that faces China. It would be different if I lived in either Seattle or anywhere in California that's along the coastline.
Does Seattle have a Chinese big population? I don't know why my brain broke just then. All right.
I feel like they might, because I mean, consider that like Seattle, like the major cities that are close to the shoreline, I would assume would have a lot of Chinese shipping stuff, because they're it's the Pacific Ocean. So I feel like there's a good chance that there's probably a decent sized Chinese community, perhaps somewhere in Seattle.
Hiding from us.
Well, we never went there, and we never asked Hannah.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll do a clap, and then we'll insult Mel on the editing side.
What happened to your audio?
Oh, I turn off noise suppression.
Oh, okay.
For the clap.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah. So it'll be 3, 2, 1, clap. All right. So 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
All right. I think
Look
we're
at that
good.
fucking spike.
All right.
Yep. All right, Mellow. Question for you while you're editing this: how many cups of tea do you go through while you edit?
0. He's not allowed food until he finishes editing.
I mean, that's assuming he remembered to renew his editing license.
No, we just use a pirated copy of Vegas from 2004.
All right, I guess I'll do a brief introduction. Hello, I'm Sir Violent Death. This is the Sentinels podcast. Mellow is unfortunately not here right now because he's off in the T-mines, I guess.
Some would say
joined with me is Ratchet and Caff. Ratchet, who's our server administrator, and Caff, who is our moderator.
This is the first time you haven't called me Mr. Developer, and I'm very surprised.
Okay, fine, Mr. Developer.
No!
Mr. Game Dev. There you go.
This is discrimination.
I mean, we should be glad he was able to make it today.
Yeah.
Should be glad. I mean, all them dingoes. You never know what happens.
Yeah. It's always the bloody dingoes.
And actually, I actually forgot to find something for the combat. I can talk. The comeback. So we'll skip that for this episode. I'm sure Mellow's frowning like, we always do it. Why didn't you find something?
I think he missed out on.
Well, there weren't enough people bullying us this time.
Yeah. I guess.
I like the live one because there was a million questions. I don't know if you can ask this, but I think you might have skipped the best part, which was everyone been playing this week.
Ah, yes. So, what has everyone been playing this week?
Not much. I mean, I've been getting my daily Fortnite in. You know, Fortnite a day keeps the doctor away. Besides, I've been playing a little bit of Nubby, a little bit of Isaac.
So you made sure you did your Fortnite chores first, right?
Of course I did. Listen, how else am I supposed to grind to get that sexy, stupid Flanders skin?
Didn't even know that they added one.
Clearly someone hasn't gotten his daily dose of Fortnite.
I'm allergic. I break out in hives.
You break
Sounds
out in
like
hives.
A personal issue.
You gotta get that
I
Ariana Grande,
break out in hives.
Nicki Minaj Call of Duty skin.
Break out in hives around Battle Royale games.
No, listen, you're not thinking ugly enough. I gotta get the American Dad Call of Duty skin.
Oh jeez.
I'm not even being funny. I've genuinely never seen worse cell shading in my life. It's one of the worst skins I've seen in my life.
The Beavis and Butthead ones are also pretty horrific. It's like, why?
They're
why?
pretty bad. But I'm gonna be honest, that you can't get worse than Stan. He is a piece of work.
It's kind of impressive.
It's like, I'm not saying Fortnite's is perfect by any means, but they've clearly put the work into it. And then you see Call of Duty doing this.
Hyper realistic.
We got to make sure Mellow puts this on screen for reference.
Is that like a model in game?
Yeah,
that is an in-game skin. That is Stan Smith from American Dad. This is an official skin.
Why does it look like someone just copy and pasted it from Google image results?
It looks like if you tried to get DALL-E to generate American Dad. It's absolutely hideous.
My favorite part is there was definitely some artist working on this at Activision just being like, what the fuck? Why?
It's like they're looking at this. They have to get like all of these references. They got to make sure it's anatomical down to the detail, and then you get to whoever's doing the shaders, and it becomes that.
I could just be sitting there being like, I wonder if Epic is hiring. I feel like you could get a job at Epic with this one skin.
I mean, to be fair, Epic's track record with South shaded skins isn't much better. If you've seen any of the Futurama skins.
Yeah, they actually fit in the game. My favorite one, I think they're doing South Park soon. My favorite part is whenever they have short characters, they just put them in those stupid mechs.
No, I mean, that's what they did with Bart and Lisa in the latest season.
Yep. They did it with
and it's like, I've got the Morty skin with the weird like dangling legs.
Yep.
I think it'd be even funnier if they just did nothing and they have like this new buddy system in Fortnite now.
You just play this short character like... Who is it from GoldenEye that used to be really short that would piss everyone off? I can't remember the character's name.
Odd Job, yeah. Odd Job.
You just like one short-ass character and it's easier to hide. To kind of wrap things up, I've just been playing more Star Citizen. I got my friends into it. And it is in the it's called a free fly week where you basically can fly any of the ships. It's literally almost over, so by the time this episode goes out, it's definitely going to be over. It has been more buggy in the past week than it's ever been, and apparently, according to the community, that's normal. Free fly weekends, which are meant to advertise the game to new players, are when the game is the most buggiest. Like, really good example, they disabled the collision in the back of my ship. So you can get into the cargo bay, but you can't get into the area around the cargo bay, which means you just have to fucking run for your life to the cargo bay if you're in space. Otherwise, you'll clip through the ship and fall in space until you either die or the game realizes you're falling through space and force respawns you. So it's
somehow, that's probably not the most embarrassing MMO screw up I've heard of recently. Was that... What Ship of Superheroes or something like that? I barely remember it. I just remember it being a complete clusterfuck once it dropped.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to Star Citizen, it's still in alpha, and they keep saying, like, you know, they're doing what Steam does, where it's like, it's in alpha, do not buy it if you don't want a buggy experience. Like, if you want a full 100% done experience, you're going to have to wait a while.
Listen, man, I'm sure the whales will still be content buying their $1,000 ships. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh, it's so tempting. They look so cool. That's the biggest problem. They sell you $1,000 ships and they just all look amazing. And you see people flying them. It's like, oh.
I mean, like to Star Citizen's credit, this isn't the kind of game I'd ever be interested in. But the pure craftsmanship in some of these ships is a little impressive. I have to admit,
it's wild. The artists that work on it, like, as much as I'm like, how much they've earned from people backing them is ridiculous, and people shouldn't be spending all of their money in this game, but also I kind of like it because they don't fully rely on investors. They rely on the community, which means when there's problems, the community get to make like decisions and shit. But
I mean,
yeah,
even though it's nowhere near done, I mean, I think funding recently hit like 800 million or some absurd number like that.
Yeah,
I can't say that money's been entirely squandered.
Yeah, like
I'm not going to say its allocation has been perfect, but
it's very clearly much better than a game like Identity. It's Identity's Kickstarter, or what's the other game? What's the zombie one that was really garbage that kind of half released 3 years ago at this point?
Which one? Raise the Dead?
No, the one that was really
No, the Last
big.
of Us ripoff.
Yeah, the one where it was the day before.
The day before, yeah.
I was gonna say, I just remember the cover image is the black dude standing there looking at the screen with the same concern the community had when the game actually released. But yeah, it's like, yeah.
I wonder what they're doing with props now.
Yeah, who knows? I showed that game to some of my coworkers a while ago, and we're all just laughing at how bad the networking was. It's like, it took them like 6 months to do this. Look how bad this is. This is fucking.
I know they also released a demo for some other shit, like I don't know what else you'd call, like, Human Fall Flat clone. I don't remember what it was called. And it was, I don't think anyone ever actually managed to play it because there weren't enough players for the demo.
Yeah.
There was, oh my god. I'm trying to remember another, like, Human Fall Flat clone where they actually got flagged with off-topic reviews, allegedly, because they were doing some kind of review manipulation via promotion. But, it did also have even human in the name. Hold on, let me go to my curator here, see if I can find it.
I think it'd be funny if it was something really obvious, like human goes splat.
Human fall at a little bit of an angle.
Human trips and picks himself back up.
Yeah.
So
or it could you could do a Google play and be like, human fall flat funny physics co-op game 2025. Which
say that, but I think I'm pretty sure Atomic Fabric's done that on at least one.
Bro Falls, that's what it was called.
Bro Falls.
Yeah, that's a little further away than I thought. Because, like, I mean, what was it? I think there's a game called Stumble Guys on Steam. Yes. I think you can imagine what that's aping.
Bro Falls, that's what it was.
Valve have cleaned some of them up, but it's really annoying when you jump on Steam and you see some of those games with mobile titles where it's like, you know, like The Last Human on Earth open world MMO survival sandbox RPG creative, and it's like, Steam has tags, dipshit. Like, why put it in the title?
I'm sorry, Bro Falls is a Fall Guys clone. Yep. Now, as far as what I've been playing, so I've played a little bit of modded Factorio, and I actually decided to, because some of my characters, I fucked with the stats a bit too much, and made them so OP that it actually was starting to break my game. I decided to just delete all my Vampire Survivor stuff and start from scratch. So I've been just playing that again. It's been quite enjoyable. I do enjoy it. It's interesting how it managed to inspire a lot of essentially clones and maybe even some like actual ripoffs but like it starts to get ridiculous when you take like a franchise name and just throw survivors to the end of it, and then like have that gameplay like what Deep Rock survivors. It's like I get what you're going, but like, couldn't you call it something else? Because otherwise it's, you know, I know you're trying to say like, hey, it's kind of like Vampire Survivors, but it's with Deep Rock Galactic stuff, and that's great and all, but like, it just starts to sound really generic when you throw survivors at the end of everything.
I'm so glad.
Survivors.
Don't give them ideas, please. There's going to be someone who watches.
Who's talking about giving them ideas? That's giving me ideas. I'm making survivors now.
Do it. Just make it a game. It's a game where you're sitting at a bus stop playing Vampire Survivors on your mobile phone. All it does is it just launches like a fake 3D window that just launches Vampire Survivors within it. Tell you what though.
The goal's just not to get abducted.
Yeah. You just gotta look up every so often. It's a horror game. I'm so glad that people have picked a term other than survivor-like, because it's like it's literally a reverse bullet hell. You're the person sending the bullets out, but it's still a bullet hell game because the bullets are now just the enemies because there's a fuck ton of them.
Reverse bullet hell is a tag on Steam, if I remember correctly.
I hope so, because that describes it way better than survivor-like. I mean, bullet hell is a descriptive.
I think the term bullet heaven is a thing, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you could consider Vampire Survivors
bullet heaven. I've also seen as well.
Does that imply there's a bullet purgatory?
Yeah, that's the asset flips of Vampire Survivors. You just get stuck in the middle in a big waiting room like that South Park episode. You clip through
the floor and you just don't interact with anything.
So, like, looking at Deep Rock Galactic Survivors, action roguelike is one of the tags.
I guess that's technically not wrong.
Yeah.
So, what other games are considered action roguelike?
Vampire Survivors, I bet. I'll recommend it for you. Vampire Survivors. Content warning, apparently.
That's what they need on just all the different genres people complain about. Just have a warning before they can go to the Steam page.
I'm not entirely sure how many of these games technically count as an action roguelike, but
throwing action onto something, I don't know if that really separates.
And it's like,
it's the action genre.
And like Peak is listed as an action roguelike. I don't think I'd really consider it one.
Yeah. I think all of those 4-player games, I'm going to refrain from using the term that will upset a bunch of people, but I
like the word.
Yeah. I like the word that people use to describe it, but I'm not going to say it because it'll piss people off, because it gets a visceral reaction.
Consumable materials.
Yeah. Yep.
What was it, Friend Slop or whatever it is?
Oh, I said it.
I didn't say it, yeah.
Okay.
You just said you said the current video game. Actually, no, I'm not going to make that comparison.
No, like Slop, first off, I've noticed in the past few years, Slop is the thing that they've started to add on to the end of things. So AI Slop, for instance, which, we'd go, because it's usually trash. I don't know, like Friend Slop, if I would call that, unless
it's like, to me,
there's just
it's
too
not
many.
necessarily the fact that the games are bad per se. It's more the fact that they're all sort of built with this incredibly short shelf life.
Yeah.
It's like Peak, people were talking about that for a couple months and then they moved on to, was it RV there yet?
Yeah. What annoys me is it's the same fucking feeling game over and over again, and it's like Peak did a little different. You're just meant to get to the end, whereas like everything that ripped off Lethal Company was just
it's like repo content warning. It's just Lethal Company with another stupid gimmick.
Yeah, and it's like, and the thing that annoys me the most as being like a developer is the fact that they all use Photon, which means they're paying like 4 times as much as they need to be paying to host dedicated servers.
I know. Wouldn't they be able to just host this pretty easily using Steamworks?
Yes, literally Steamworks and the Steam networking interface, Steam relays, so people aren't directly connected to each other. Yeah, it annoys the fuck out of me because you can host it entirely for free. Like, the Phasmo dev did the same thing. If he wanted to enable mods in Phasmophobia, he would just need to make it so the game is hosted locally. And that is, outside of reworking shit, it's realistically probably about 3 months of work, but then people get to mod the game, and I think that's infinitely better. Like, people have more fun modding the game than they do just playing the vanilla game. Like, imagine, like, levels from Scooby-Doo House and shit.
Or as we call it, Vanilla Slop.
Exactly. Ghost Slop.
I will
game
say
slop.
that...
every game is game slop now.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Someone said that...
Speaking of like, indie games, like, I want to say it was, I think, Ratchet or someone else that brought up how there's a lot of indie games that are set to do like crossovers. So like Pal World has done a crossover, Vampire Survivors has done crossovers.
I think that was Ocular, but yes. Yeah.
Honestly,
also
truth be told, that's not the kind of stuff I pay a whole lot of attention to.
It's a very weird thing, and I'm happy that indie games are now able to do that. It's kind of cool to see all these games cross over, but also, yeah, it feels like the same. It's Vampire Survivors and Power World.
No, you also forgot all the games that are like crossover.
Let's not forget
like
Terraria. Terraria has also had quite a few crossovers. And in fact, that's how they decided to, I feel like, come up with their own content. We'll just do crossover content. Since I feel like they've run out of ideas. Like, they want to do a Terraria too. The problem is, like, they initially wanted to, like, do a different art style, and people against that. And plus, they wanted to change it up. Problem is if they... Because, like, originally it was going to be Terraria, what was the overworld. But with that, the whole goal would have been to eradicate the corruption stuff, and you would have had like these it looks like these not outposts, but these like pylons that would change the area around, which kind of feels like it would mess with the whole sandbox aspect of the game. Plus, the art style was different, and at least I didn't like the art style, and I don't think I was alone in that.
It's kind of the same issue to get with doing a Minecraft too. It's a sandbox game, so where do you go from there for a sequel?
Ask Notch, because that's what he's doing right now.
What?
Yeah, Notch is making Minecraft too.
Oh wow.
That would imply I'd ever ask Notch anything.
Yeah. That would imply anyone listens to Notch, which after his whole thing about like you're not a proper developer until you made your own game engine, no one should listen to Notch.
What is it like in terms of other crossovers? I remember that there was a like Super Smash Brothers, but like
Framemakers. Yeah, it was like sort of like Super Smash Bros, but with just a bunch of indie characters.
Didn't it have like Shovel Knight? I remember being a character in one. I think
there was like you had Shovel Knight, you got Hat Kid,
maybe Super Meat Boy.
One of the Commander Video, I think, like from. Was it V? No, it's not VVV. It's Bit Trip Runner. Is that the one?
Maybe.
Octodad. I think Octodad was also in that as well.
Why have I never heard of this game? Is this still around?
It's still around. It's still in early access. It's been in early access going on almost 3 years now.
Hell yeah! Framemakers. I was trying to think the other one. The one, and
it's from the same developers who made that old Super Smash Flash game.
I was thinking of, I think it's Haymakers is the other one where it's a bunch of ponies. It's like the weird My Little Pony fan
them's fighting. Yeah, them's fighting
birds. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
We'll move on to a topic that's got quite a bit of history to it on Steam, which is game spamming on Steam.
Yes.
Caff, you want to talk about one of the recent, I guess, perpetrators?
Absolutely, because this is something I find all the fucking time as someone who likes to peruse the new releases on Steam. Because, every once in a while I like finding a nice little hidden gem from a developer who's done absolutely zero marketing. So I ended up finding this game. What was it? I think Whisperfall. Sorry, Whisperfall. They didn't type out the title properly. Released by a developer called Smo Games Studio, and I go ahead and check the releases. Big surprise! They released 18 games with completely AI generated slop assets for the storefront. I'm not able to identify what asset packs specifically any of these games are using. But you just look at some of these store pages, and it's clearly just a bunch of Unreal Engine assets. Just the lowest common denominator slop. And the most annoying part to me about this is that not necessarily just the fact that the solution is relatively simple. I think it's the fact that it's also like the third, fourth time that we've seen something like this on the storefront. It's like earlier this year, I wrote an article about what was their name? What Studio. They're probably still not called What Studio because they keep on changing their name, but they released something like 30, 40 games within the span of a month. Then you got good old Johnny Gennard, who released about another 50 games within the span of a month. and it's just it's absolutely absurd because this isn't even a recent issue. If you want to get technical, this dates all the way back to the days of Greenlight when you had developers like Digital Homicide just spamming like fucking edited asset slop, or Zonatron Productions who managed to shit out about 200 titles within the span of a year. It's just crazy to me that this is an issue that Valve just doesn't bother addressing at all. And it's like, to some extent I do get it. You know, you're getting that juicy $100 submission fee. But at what point does it, at least just for the sake of keeping a clean storefront, at what point should you just maybe put some limits on how frequent developers should release games? Maybe. Because I'm going to go ahead and open the topic to everyone else because I don't have a whole lot else to say. But I'm just saying, I think it would be realistic for Valve to put some restrictions on how often a developer can release a game.
I think that sounds appropriate because if we look at the history of other game spam developers, and I remember that there was at least a few complaints. I think said to Mellow, as well as I think posted on Twitter. Not that I can find any of that, where they were complaining about certain devs that were just spamming stuff. So looking at the history of it, initially one of the notable ones is of course Digital Homicide, but they've been vastly outdone by a lot of spammers since then. We'll start with Zonatron / Silicon Echo and all their sock puppet developer stuff, where they had over 173 app IDs released in the span of less than 3 years or something like that. And they had more app IDs purchased apart from that. But Valve finally had stepped in and, banned them. According to Valve, they were abusing Steam tools, which tells me they were still pulling something on the back end. I believe it had to do something with how they were bundling their Greenlight titles, where you couldn't buy the game on the store page for like games that were in a bundle. You could only ever buy the bundle, and it was just weird. Anyways, and then after that, we had, if anyone remembers, Dexian Games and Garnudo. And they shit out like it was 200 titles, something like that, less than a year before they eventually got banned. The reason was never stated. We also had a Chinese developer by the name of one of their names is like Lucky Sun.
Oh yeah,
or Sun Lucky. And
if you're vigilant, you might still see him every once in a while. I'm surprised he's still
not all of their games got banned, but one of the most telling stuff was the game control instructions on the Steam store page, and one of the ones that they would always put was left shift running as a common thing. I forget how many titles they had.
Assets, where it would always just be like a stock like nature background and then just like text in the bottom left corner, usually like Arial.
It wasn't Game Maker that they were using. It was something else.
Game Guru. It was Game Guru.
Game Guru. That's right. That's what it was. It was a lot of Game Guru stuff. Yep. And then of course you had the achievement spam titles that I think what was it? Pootlin Industries did.
Yeah, Pootlin Industries.
So they did a bunch of stuff like that. Another spam developer was not as bad, but it was at least once a month. I am trying to remember their name that they went under, but they put out like it was with the same game engine too, like this super generic platformer stuff, like Santa Run or some bullshit like that. I think
I know which guy you're talking about. He's got like that's like a really weird, distinct art style that I don't know how to describe, but I know.
I think we eventually just found out it was like Construct or Construct 2 or something like that was the game engine. But like he had like 3 different names. One of which was I think his Russian name, which was like That's it. I can't even like remember the whole thing. And I forget like his other like titles.
Yeah, I think the only reason I know which guy you're talking about is because like way back when I bought like a bunch of like Steam keys off of I think either like G2 or eBay when I was in high school, and then I got some like a game called fucking Sex Apartments, and I think this was the guy. Like what else did he? I think one of his games might have been Among Us, if I'm not wrong. If I'm assuming that's the right guy.
Panda Run. Panda Run was one of his titles, which is still on Steam, and it's changed names. The developer has changed names to now Jam. Not sure why.
Yeah, this has 100% been bought by someone else.
Yeah, if I can find like the old developer name on SteamDB, the history somewhere, because it was one of their. Let's see here. So, this must have been. I think they avoided one of the major Steam cleaning bans. Because this happened around 2018, 2019 that they changed their stuff. And Valve, for the longest time, I don't know if they still do because I stopped paying attention to it since it started happening very often. About every year, either in spring or in the fall, they seem to, I guess, go through their like ban list, like developers and titles needing to be banned. And rather than do them like as soon as they come across it, they would just do a bunch all at once.
I mean,
Which is usually how a lot of these spammers got. That's usually when they were booted, is during what appeared to be what I would call Valve's Steam cleaning event.
I mean, hey, technically the season for Steam cleaning still ain't over. It's just the end. It's just after Thanksgiving. Still got plenty of time. And I think last year they hit like right around Christmas. So
I would not be shocked if, because usually what happens with the developers that spam titles, they're usually doing something else that is not kosher with Valve.
And then even then, even if they aren't doing anything, you still have smaller guys like Ghost Russ, if you remember who that is.
Yeah, I remember Ghost
probably
Russ.
Most infamous for releasing Gay World.
Yep.
And our good friend Taro Lunka. I don't think I have to describe who Taro Lunka is. If you know, you know. I think Ghost Rush even started recently publishing games again, and it's like they're nowhere near as frequent as some of the worst offenders like Xanatron or like Johnny Gennard or this guy I found yesterday. But they still definitely release titles at an absurdly quick rate, usually at least like one or two a month, and they're never good. They're never good. Typically they're typically not doing anything shady. At least I know with Taro Lunka, he doesn't really do much. He really just likes releasing shit games. But yeah, there is a lot of offenders, both big and small.
I used to have a spreadsheet that I used to keep track of some of them before like it started to get like ridiculous with how often it was starting to happen. And because you would have notable spammers that would have 200, then you would have smaller spammers that would start out, and then either they would run out of money or they were banned before they could do any more. Because usually, and what I think happens is that they're trying to pull something with with generating keys, as well as doing something very weird on the back end with bundles.
Yeah,
like
a lot of these developers do really weird things with bundles. Like I know Heedy, he's a pretty bad one. It's like to the point where he will even fuck with statistics on like SteamDB. Like it's like you look at the price charting on any of his games on SteamDB and it's just incomprehensible. Like let me send one as an example if I can think of one.
I remember one of the first ones that he did. The thing that was controversial about it is that he had Steam keys in his game as a reward.
Oh yeah, I remember which one. It was a game like Game King, Game Farm, something like that.
Yeah, that is correct. which to me, I felt that should not be allowed, even if it was his own game. Which at that point, like you're trying to incentivize people to play your game so they can get a key.
To be
It's
fair,
effectively enticing.
Viscera Cleanup Detail did the same thing with their Santa's Rampage game. They hid 10 keys in the game that you could use to get a copy of, I think it was Shadow Warrior.
I mean, that's still kind of weird. I mean, probably not malicious or like necessarily. I mean, it's still enticement. That's still kind of enticing people to buy your game.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna send a screenshot of one of Heaty's like price charts. Mellow, you can include this as a reference if you want. This is one of his oldest games, Hexaluga, and just look at that price chart. It's just like day to day because of bundles. So game is like, oh, let me look at this little period from 2023. Game starts off at $100, then it goes in a bundle, and it's down to $48.63, then up to $51.33, then down to $46, then down to $40, then that just goes on sale and it's back down to $9. It's a completely separate issue, but it is still. It still sort of exemplifies the fact that a lot of these developers don't play fair. They deliberately abuse a lot of Steam systems to get their CAC sold.
By the way, the developer before that I mentioned with like the Construct 2 stuff, so he had essentially 3 different names, which was Indie Lip, TSS Studio, and then Vashislav Shilikin. I'm probably butchering his name.
Any names I recognize. I guess I just described another spammer of porn games. Then that's
probably because his games were very generic platformers. So, I mean, Happy Santa, Smart Mummy, Cunning Fox. I don't even know if any of them are still on Steam. Let me see.
I mean, the fact that you can confuse these people to begin with sort of shows part of the issue. I mean, the fact that I have to go, which spammer is this, is fucking absurd.
Yeah, I even had Ghost Rush on here as well. Illumicore, which, looking at Illumicore's release date history, they seem to kind of spam. Well, they spammed a little bit. Essentially once a month.
I mean, this is obviously an ongoing issue. If anyone else wants to chime in with their opinions, I don't know if Ratchet, you've got anything else to say about this?
I don't really.
I mean, I
speaks for itself.
Well, the thing is that like, I feel like you're gonna get some people that are gonna ask, why is this a problem? If they're shit games, they'll just sink to the bottom of Steam's vast ocean.
Well, the problem is that when these all sink down, they're dragging things all with them. It's like a turtle choking on a straw. You just keep dumping straws, and eventually you're gonna get a few turtles that are just gonna start sinking down too.
Well, the thing is, right, is that if any, because at least people used to. I haven't looked at it since Steam changed how they did their storefront. You did have people that used to look at the new releases page. And the problem with that is that, normally what should be happening is that every game that you would look at it on the new releases page should be from a different developer, right? Apart from the few times that, like,
maybe an old, once in a while you got a developer like releasing legacy content or dumping some DLC out.
It's usually dumping like old titles, like we're talking titles from like 2002, right? I can't remember what was it, Strategy First, I think did that, where they might dump a bunch of their older titles, that they
they have been doing that a lot recently.
But apart from that, usually every game should be different. Problem is, if you have someone that's spamming games on Steam and you are also releasing your game on the same day that their spam stuff is released, it gets squished in between and no one will ever see it. Because everyone,
the thing is that even the people who do look at the new releases, they don't look at all the new releases. they might take a peek at the page that's right next to the popular releases, and if your game manages to get buried under all of that, which keep in mind these developers usually release games in the double digits, enough to cover at least half of the basic new releases page.
At the time, I ended up calculating it. What it seemed to be at the time that Zonatron was spamming their stuff, they accounted for, it was like 1.1 or 2% of all of Steam's releases in the years that they were pulling that stuff. Which
aside from a major developer like EA or Activision, an indie developer should not be able to account for 1% of the marketplace.
Yeah, that year. Of new releases that year more specifically. But yeah, but then this also leads to discussion of, if you're an indie dev, why are you trying to rely on then the new releases page? You should be doing marketing, which is a valid point.
To be fair, new releases is also another way to get eyes. That's how we got.
Yep.
On one of the first games I ever worked on out of university, the biggest influx we got was from the new releases page. Which, I mean, says a lot about, yes, how they marketed the game. I won't comment on how they marketed the game. I had a really good marketing strategy, and I'm still salty about it, so we'll be here all fucking day. But new releases for some games is like the make or break. Which is... I was going to say it's weird. It's not that weird, because the first week for AAA games are their make or break as well, right?
Usually the first month.
And it is still a big way to get attention, because not everyone's going to have a thorough understanding of how to market their game. That's usually the pitfall a lot of very amateur indie developers fall into.
Yeah. Or they go to the weird key sites. I'm trying to think of a few.
What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean selling my keys to daily indie games a bad idea? Wait, what do you mean?
They haven't paid me yet. Yeah, they're not going to pay you. What do you mean?
Yeah, they only paid me $2 out of the $5 they owe me.
Yeah.
Actually, which we could use that to spur into another topic here. With being key sites, a new key site that has actually sprung up. Which I have a link.
Is it the one by a bunch of former humble people?
Yes, that is exactly the one. I don't
remember what it's called, because the only bundles they have up, I could not give less of a shit about. No offense.
Well, they are just first starting out too.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I don't care about immersive sims.
I think it was IndieFile or something like that. Digifile, that's what it is. Digifile. And Is There Any Deal actually also gave them a shout out earlier this month, welcoming them, which I feel like they wouldn't do that if they didn't feel that the site was at least based on some kind of reputable stuff. And granted, they are still starting out, so there's not the greatest offerings, but at the very least...
I mean, the immediate difference of quality between that and something like daily indie games, though. I feel with key reseller sites, the kind of games that they bundle is an immediate tell of quality.
Well, it's literally anything. In any case, there is one website that's actually managed to stay. That a lot of the bot farmers will use is steamkeys.ovh. Pull it up. Steamkeys.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
It is steamkeys.ovh. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and the thing with it is that you can take a look at games with cards or games without cards, and they'll let you know, as well as they will have. If you want to list all games, initially it used to just be what looked like a giant just Google Sheets thing, where all these Lex shops would be listed on there. So yeah, so if you go to steamkeys.ovh/table.php, you can actually then see it get split by the different stores.
Oh, I see. All of these sites, all of these links just funnel to gamesforfarm.com. Of course they do.
Games for Farm, was it Batty Shop, Steam Key Store, and it will also talk about the number of cards on the marketplace.
What an insightful metric! I'm sure nobody's going to use that for ill repute. Completely honest. It's pure honesty here.
So like, that's the thing, right? Is that, the point of these games is not to actually play them, which to me is, that, like, I'm not a developer, but if I were, I would take it as a major insult because it's an insult to the craft. Imagine someone making art not for just making art, not even it's pure money and there's no actual artistic motivation for it or inspiration at all. Which, that exists, but like, if you're an artist, like an honest goodness artist, whatever it is that you do, painting, music, or otherwise, for someone to, let's say, just AI generate something, it's soulless, right? Because there was no actual work put in. A lot of people may argue that it was, we put prompts in there, and it's very hard to get the prompts, and you also need to fiddle around with this and that. Compared to someone that does actual art, like painting, right? Your Bob Ross kind of people, where not only do you need to have the right tools with you, right? Where, your palette knife and, certain paint mixes and colors, the right canvas, but the technique of like making clouds or your happy little trees. And then when you go to video games, it's when you go to model something. How do you make a model of, let's say, a tree? Is it 2D, 3D? How are you gonna, do shadows and all kinds of crap? That all requires actual work rather than asking an AI to just do it for you, and maybe you do some touching up on it, or you just change the prompt.
Picking out which Unity asset pack I wanted to use is really, really hard. I mean, do I want to go with the cowboy pack, or do I want to go with the space pack?
The only
decisions out there.
The only way I can see that being difficult is if you are trying to use it as a supplemental thing. So let's say you have all these assets for, let's say, creating an urban map, right? And let's say it's that semi-realistic style of, like, I don't know, Modern Warfare. But the thing that you're missing is maybe like garbage cans, or maybe some street lights, right? Where you want it. Some different types of garbage cans and whatnot, and it's because you view it as a minor detail, but important enough to at least include. You may just want to, that be the asset pack that you go to use, right, for your game, which I would call reasonable. It might be hard to try to find something that fits in with the art style of your game if you're just looking for.
I think the fundamental difference is like pack. It's like one thing is like building a game and then using an asset. And then another thing is like, quote unquote, building a game where just an asset pack is the crux of every artistic decision you've made. Your whole game hinges around the fact that you bought an asset pack and you're just going to make a game around that. Usually not a good one, but it's been very rare for me to see developers who make the most of having very little artistic input in terms of visuals.
Ratchet, what's your input on like using asset packs as a supplemental thing for when you've mostly created a game from scratch, but you use, let's say, an asset pack to fill in a few blanks?
I think it's fine. I used to be against it years ago. I don't know why I was against it, but you can see it in a lot of games like Fallout 76 uses stuff from Fallout 4 because why recreate it? All the Souls games use stuff from the Souls games. A really good one is what's that zombie survival base management third person? They're run by Microsoft. I can't remember what it's called.
That's
got a bunch of assets in it that
State of Decay?
around with. No, it's a. State of Decay 2 is built on Unreal 4 and uses a bunch of assets from the marketplace, but they blend so well with their own artist assets that you wouldn't even know.
But that That's kind of the creative freedom. I kind of view it as if you are making a meal mostly from scratch, but you might buy something that's store bought to supplement something because maybe it takes a lot of time to make. Not that I can think of any recipes off the top of my head.
And then you've got developers who do the equivalent of making a box of Kraft mac and cheese and then serving it to you like it's gourmet.
It's more
Actually,
or
maybe
less
that's being too nice to them because I could fuck up a bowl of Kraft.
No, it's the equivalent of going to your groceries, like your. I don't know if anyone has like a. Well, I doubt Ratchet does, but Ratchet would probably understand what I'm talking about. If you were to go to your groceries deli place, your grocery chain's deli place, and to buy like your what is it, your pasta salad from there to bring it to like bring it to like a potluck or some kind of like work event, like, oh yeah, brought my pasta salad that I totally didn't buy from the grocery store, already made,
It's that I made. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I made this. You made this. I made this meme. Doesn't work without the imagery, but yeah, you get the point.
No.
We do have delis
I was going to mention like the grocery chain. I was thinking about like there's no way that
fucking 1800s.
The same grocery trains are going to be over there. Yeah, right. Which is why I
but we still
quickly didn't.
General.
I dropped that. But yeah, so going back to game spam though, it's a problem on Steam. It'll remain a problem on Steam. I think the only way around it though is doing your game's marketing.
I mean, at least on the Steam side, the obvious solution is, I mean, it's a double-edged sword because it also requires Steam encroaching on developers more and sort of taking away more of the autonomy that they probably deserve to have. But I mean, realistically, the only way to stop some of this is just limiting the amount of games the developer can release in a given time span. Yeah, like maybe if you don't want to be super overbearing, like maybe one game a week, which I think is still probably fucking ludicrous, but it's something. It is a limit.
If you are making legitimate games, I don't think that having a limit of like one game a month is going to bother you if you're a legitimate developer. It might if you're posting your old catalog, but apart from that, if you're a legitimate developer, having a limit of one game a month should not be an inconvenience.
Yeah, truth be told, I think there's only one developer I can think of where that possibly be an issue. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Sock Pop.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably one of the only developers I can think of that like regularly release these small games onto Steam, usually like once every couple months. They've slowed down a bit recently, but I think they have about 120 games on Steam, which I mean, they still may be a lot. You could argue for or against their quality, but I think the level of input that goes into creating one of those games far exceeds that of AI generated slop. I would give an example, but I've immediately forgotten the game I was talking about earlier.
Oh, in terms of AI generated slop?
Yeah. And there's almost no point like identifying each of them because they're all the same fundamentally.
The Whisper Fall?
Yeah, Whisper Fall. You don't pronounce the E. Whisper.
Yeah, no one's whispering that game. Interesting too is that they've got buy games bundle by Smo Games number 3.
Yeah, they put all their games in a bundle. I think Mellow actually bought one of them, if I'm not wrong. I think.
And what I hate is that like the thumbnail for the store page, the thumbnail for the title, looks nice, but then when you start to see them next to each other, it feels very generic.
Yeah, this is Mellow's cart a few days ago. He's probably the one and only owner of some of these games.
Oh dear.
It's clearly for historical archive purposes, because these games are important. They're going to be going into the Library of Congress for their cultural significance.
Or Mellow's library for cultural significance.
I mean, that's basically the same thing.
I guess so.
We could always talk about the RAM shortage if you really need some filler.
I'm not sure what else. Well, I mean, what else is there to say about it apart from it's artificial and it's a little bowl?
I mean, there's also the fact that it's starting to impact GPUs now because I think in a report done a couple days ago, NVIDIA is no longer packaging DRAM chips for distributors, so now they got to go and seek those out themselves, which doesn't bode well for the fact that it's affecting other parts of the market. And exclusively
Xbox is going to have to announce another price increase, which would be the third time this year.
Yeah, the third time for a console nobody fucking plays. And this is as someone who owns a Series S. Nobody. It is a scarily dead platform.
I mean, they shot them. They've been bleeding since 2013 with their. I believe Sterling called it a lying failure machine.
And it doesn't bode well for other consoles either. I'm sure. I want to say maybe Nintendo will be fine. I mean, they're. I don't know if they're selling the Switch at a loss or not, or if they're like breaking even on that or whatever. But I know the PS5 had a price increase very recently, and I don't think that was related to any market relevant issues like the increase of memory prices or the lack of availability. It's just quote unquote inflation. I don't know. I just think the fact that this is impacting other sectors of the market besides just memory, and that this is an almost exclusively consumer side issue at this point it's not fun. It does not bode well for most people.
It's to the point of where there are people that, like the console friends I talk to, they are very interested and keen to see the Steam machine, which normally gets relegated to the niche market. But if you're on Xbox and and if you're desperate for like essentially a plug and play machine that's not PlayStation, and on top of that, you don't have to pay a yearly fee or a monthly fee to use the online services. A Steam machine seems like a godsend.
The only problem with the Steam machine, and this is something people haven't talked about, is the fact that it won't be able to play certain games due to DRM and stuff like TPM.
You won't be able to get all the kids.
Wait, really? How would that work?
It's a Linux computer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and there's only so much Proton and Lutris can do about DRM. So little Billy won't be able to play Fortnite on this Steam machine, unfortunately.
Until Epic push for and Linux release.
I mean, I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility at this point, but I don't know.
I am surprised at this point that they haven't. Like, you would think with all the money that they have, that they, screw it, we'll also make it for Linux.
It's because it would require them to make EAC support Linux, and they basically, when they bought EAC, they went through and got rid of a bunch of shit, and Linux support was one of the things they got rid of. So they're going to have to spin that arm back up and hire a bunch of Linux developers to get support. And I don't think it's very high on the priority list for Sweeney. It's like I understand NVIDIA with the GPUs selling out to the data centers deliberately. But with RAM, I don't understand the companies stocking at least system memory, because the data centers are buying specifically sized RAM.
Oh no, yeah, this is like memory that goes far outside of the bounds of normal consumer RAM. We're talking like quarter terabytes.
512 plus gig of fucking RAM, because they're running eight sticks of it with 4 GPUs on a massive data server that's designed entirely for that fucking task. It's like, yeah, how the hell do we have a RAM? CPUs I understand, but why is there a RAM shortage? When,
I mean, it's like data centers are a tantruming baby. They got lots of money, and they're going, now, I want my data chips now. I want my RAM now. And unfortunately, looks like that's taken away from the consumer side of production. Because earlier this week, I was actually considering upgrading my machine. And then I go to check Micro Center. 16 gigs of DDR4. Keep in mind, DDR4, because I'm still on AM4. I'm not even current platform. $100.
Don't touch DDR. Jesus.
You can keep in mind, a couple of months ago, that probably would have only costed me maybe $50 to $60.
Yeah. Apparently DDR5 is a shit show, by the way.
Oh no, yeah, DDR5 is insanely unstable, especially if you're doing more than a couple sticks. If you're plugging all four memory slots, things get fucky. It's it supports insanely high clock speeds, insanely high memory storage size, but I just something in the pipeline just isn't able to keep up. But yeah, I mean, if you want to look at DDR5 prices right now, I can do that for you. Yeah.
Probably gonna be so fucking expensive.
God, this is gonna fucking hurt. All right,
I paid
I'll be generous.
for.
I'll be generous and I'll sort by lowest price. Single stick of. Oh my! I almost can't believe this. A single stick of 16 gigabytes of memory, 6,000 megahertz. $125. One stick. And this is on sale. This is down from $200, where it would still be the cheapest option. This is normally $200. Or rather, now it's normally $200. And that it's not even funny, the fact that that's encroaching on CPU prices.
Two 32 gig sticks of 3200 megahertz DDR4 RAM in Australia, $500. So 64 gig of RAM will run you the same price as a good AMD CPU.
Yeah, that'll run you about the same price as like a 5600X. Or at this point, it would even get you a decent budget CPU. 2 sticks of DDR4s, 32 gigs. That's about $250. That is enough to get you either a 5050 or a 9060 XT. I mean, that's just kind of fucking ludicrous.
Yeah. Criminal.
It's just imagine building the system and then you have to go get the memory, and that's somehow the most expensive part of your build.
Yeah, that and the GPU, you've got a $1,200 cheap graphics card and $500 worth of fucking RAM. It's everything else was
after getting a good deal.
Yeah.
And it's and it's even weirder to see because now the GPU market sort of settled a little bit. It's not great, but if you look at the prices of the current generation of GPUs, your Radeon 9000s or RTX 5000s, and it's not as bad as the previous generation, at least. It's I got 70 XT for a little under 600 USD now. That's an actual flagship card for a semi-reasonable price. I mean, granted, that's also probably not going to be the same internationally. I know Australia's got really fucked components prices.
Yeah, they go out of their way to make shit expensive. I've got a computer here I built with where'd I buy it from? I'll have to start digging, but
please tell me those cashies.
Oh no, fuck no. Buy computers from cashies, mate. So you end up with a dodgy computer full of cigarette butts because somebody thought the hole in the top was an ashtray, which is a horror story from when I used to work in IT. That case was grey and white on the inside, and it was horrific. Here we go. A Ryzen 7 5700X. 32 gig of RAM. Where is it? 1 terabyte SSD and M2 SSD. A Sapphire Radeon 9060 Ti 16 gig edition. I think that's all. It's essentially a 32 gig of RAM Ryzen 7 5700X RX 9060 XT PC. And all up, that cost me, I think it was $2,000 nearly exactly.
Jesus Christ.
And that's in Australia.
Even with Aussie to US conversion, that's still like a good $1,200, $1,300.
Yeah, and then when you take down the price of the components and the shipping over to Australia, it's about an $800 US computer.
Yeah, I like in the US, you could reasonably build that with maybe $700.
Yeah, and it plays. We use it as a build server for development, and it's like runs my website and shit. But you can use it to play like Black Ops 7 at 60 FPS. It's like a solid sleeper build. But would you want to play? Would you want to play Black Ops 7 though? No. I did.
And I'm just saying, even for a hypothetical, that's not very realistic.
It's a good build, but it's definitely going to cost you about $2,500 now because I bought it about 6 months ago.
Yep. Unfortunately, the $500 build is probably going to run you closer to $1,000 nowadays.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I really don't know what else to say on the topic besides I don't know, fuck data centers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Nvidia for capitalizing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's also not a good sign that the guy that apparently had called the 2008 housing bubble, it's like Barry or something like that. He is also calling the AI bubble in terms of that, claiming that these companies, all they have are circular deals, expecting that they're going to meet a demand that may or may not exist.
No, either once the bubble bursts, it's going to be absolutely catastrophic. I don't think I'm even being funny when I say once it pops, Nvidia is going to be lucky to still exist.
Well, it's like Intel. The government had to pretty much buy out Intel, the US government.
No, yeah, like Nvidia is going to have to get bailed out because if you look at their market cap right now, it's something insane, like $4.3 trillion. And don't get me wrong, I still think Nvidia is a high value company. I don't think it's worth $4.3 trillion though.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone have anything else to discuss?
Maybe we can shit on Mellow again.
He sent me
back to work, Mellow.
He's playing Uno right now, and he sent me a photo of somebody else playing Uno against him who looks utterly miserable because they're losing. And so I zoomed in on their face and sent it back to him and said, they look like they're having fun.
When he could have been having fun here with us. Little bastard.
You guys okay with wrapping it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Right. Mellow, feel free to add in the Patreon shout out at the end with your own voice, because I don't even have a list or anything like that. So
Mellow, feel free to suck my nuts.
Oh jeez.
He's going to keep that in there or put it right at the very end, by the way. The very end of the podcast is going to be you saying that.
I fucking hope he does.
Anyways,
he did it with me.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, and thank you, Caff, for filling in for Mellow as he's down somewhere in the teabag mine.
I won't tell you where he is.
He's holidaying on Ep.9.
Oh no!
John better fucking keep that in.
Now that it's abandoned, he realized that you can just go there and no one's going to call you out.
For those that don't know, Mellow's real life job is being a dock worker. It's not, but shh. Anyways, thank you for joining us. I don't really have a good way to say goodbye, so I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye.
I will never be back.
Thank you everybody for tuning into the latest episode of the Steam Sentinels podcast. I will be back next week, don't worry, for those of you that missed me this week. Special thank you goes out to our patrons on Patreon. Those include Caff, Stefan, Old Navy Twidget, Luke, Nin, Emigrant, and Pocket. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you want to become a patron today, please follow the links in the description down below. And until next time, take care.
Feel free to suck my nuts. Feel free to suck my nuts. Feel free to suck my nuts.